Picture this: Donald Trump, the bold and unfiltered U.S. president, potentially clinching the Nobel Peace Prize in 2025. It's a scenario that could redefine global accolades, but is it a genuine nod to peacemaking or just another headline-grabbing twist? As the Norwegian Nobel Committee gears up to reveal this year's laureate, check out the details at https://www.aljazeera.com/news/2025/Nobel Prize 2025, what they are, when will the awards be announced. Trump's name looms large, sparking debates that go far beyond politics. Let's dive into the heart of the matter, exploring his bold claims, the facts behind them, and why this award might just be the most talked about one yet. And here's where it gets controversial. Trump's track record isn't all sunshine and ceasefires. It's a mix of mediation and military might that has critics and supporters clashing. But don't worry, we'll break it down step by step, making sure even newcomers to international affairs can follow along easily. With 338 nominees vying for the prize, the Nobel Committee, a select group of 5 experts chosen by Norway's parliament, known as the Storting, holds the power to decide. This year's announcement unfolds against a backdrop of ongoing global tensions, including Russia's invasion of Ukraine and various other conflicts worldwide. Trump, who took office in January, has been vocal about his belief that he deserves the honor, boasting that he's wrapped up at least 7 wars. And just recently, on Wednesday, he positioned himself as a key player in potentially ending an 8th, following a preliminary ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas, based on his own 20-point peace proposal unveiled last week. To keep you engaged, here's a quick list of related stories that shed more light on Trump's diplomatic maneuvers. Could a Trump-negotiated agreement sideline Russia and Iran in the South Caucasus? Explore more at https://www.aljazeera.com/news/Trump's trip deal squeezes Russia-Iran out of South Caucasus. Trump's foreign policy: true peacemaker or just a boost for his image? Watch the fact check here. https://www.aljazeera.com/news/2025/813. How does Trump's trip deal squeezes Russia-Iran out of South Caucasus? /www.aljazeera.com/video fact check 2025/827. Trump calls for immediate halt to Gaza conflict in UN speech. Read the full report. https://www.aljazeera.com/2025/923. Trump calls for Gaza war to stop immediately. Now, let's get to the core. Why does Trump think he's a shoo-in for the Nobel Peace Prize? During his address at the United Nations General Assembly in New York back in September, he declared, "Everyone says I should get the Nobel Peace Prize." He went on to claim, "I ended 7 wars. No president or prime minister has ever done anything close to that." Specifically, he pointed to conflicts involving Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, the Democratic Republic of the Congo (DRC) and Rwanda, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, and Armenia and Azerbaijan. It's a bold assertion, but as we'll see, not everyone agrees on the details. So what exactly are Trump's qualifications? Well, some of the wars he cites are ones where he played a direct role, and his involvement in others is hotly debated. That said, there are instances where the parties involved do give him credit for stepping in as a mediator. Let's unpack this with some examples to make it clearer. Take the Gaza conflict, for instance. In September, Trump stated he deserved the prize for helping bring Israel's 2-year war with Hamas to a possible close. While U.S. arms and unwavering diplomatic backing for Israel have undeniably fueled the fighting, many believe Trump applied more pressure on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu than his predecessor, Joe Biden, to wrap things up. Just last week, he rolled out his 20-point peace plan, and now, with the initial ceasefire in place, the war seems nearer to resolution than ever before. Then there's the June clash between Iran and Israel, which ended in a truce facilitated by Trump. But here's the twist. This wasn't just a distant mediation. The fighting kicked off with Israeli strikes on Iranian nuclear sites, targeting scientists and civilian areas, and the U.S. jumped in actively. Trump authorized U.S. military hits on 3 Iranian nuclear facilities. Learn more at https://www.aljazeera.com/news/2025-622 U.S. joins Israel in attacks against Iran strikes key nuclear sites. Iran retaliated by attacking the largest U.S. base in the Middle East, located in Qatar, before the ceasefire took hold. In May, India and Pakistan engaged in aerial bombardments, striking each other's military installations. India claimed it targeted terrorist camps in Pakistan and Kashmir, while Pakistan alleged civilian casualties. Trump stepped in to declare a ceasefire after 4 days, but opinions differ. Pakistan praises his intervention, whereas India maintains he played no part. See the analysis at https://www.aljazeera.com/video/97. How did India-US relations decline so suddenly? For the 5-day skirmish between Cambodia and Thailand in August, a ceasefire followed calls from Trump, along with efforts by Malaysia's Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim and Chinese diplomats. So far, only Cambodia has publicly thanked Trump for his involvement. Details here. https://www.aljazeera.com/news/87. Cambodia nominates Trump for Nobel Prize after Thai border truce. Tensions between Serbia and Kosovo have simmered since the early 2000s, with the EU and NATO often leading talks. During his first term, Trump helped broker a 2020 agreement. While relations are still strained, no full-scale war has erupted since his return to office. Trump claims credit for ending a war between Egypt and Ethiopia, but experts note that while they've had disputes, notably over a Nile River dam, no actual warfare has occurred. In June, Rwanda and the DRC inked a peace deal under Trump's guidance. It's a delicate truce, with ongoing high tensions, but it's holding steady for the moment. August saw Trump host a White House agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan, aiming to resolve a long-standing feud that dates back to the Soviet Union's collapse in 1991. Interestingly, in a later Fox Friends interview, Trump seemed to mix up the nations, referring to it as ending a conflict between Azerbaijan and Albania. And this is the part most people miss: the expert perspective. Nina Gregor, head of the Peace Research Institute Oslo, shared with Al Jazeera that she'd be surprised if Trump wins this year, arguing he hasn't yet delivered a significant enough impact on global peace. While he deserves recognition for pushing to end the Gaza war, it's premature to judge if his plan will stick and foster true lasting peace, she explained. Why is Trump so eager for this prize? He insists it's well-earned, and his fans echo that sentiment. But he's also drawn comparisons to Barack Obama, who snagged the award in 2009 for extraordinary efforts to strengthen international diplomacy and cooperation, even after just a few months in office. More on that at https://www.nobelprize.org/prizes/peace2009/Obama. Critics have slammed Obama's win, citing his expansion of drone strikes, including on U.S. citizens, and his role in prolonging wars. Trump quipped last year, "If I were named Obama, I would have had the Nobel Prize given to me in 10 seconds. Reports from Norwegian outlet Dagens Næringsliv indicate that in July, Trump reached out to Norway's finance minister Jens Stoltenberg, a former NATO leader, to discuss tariffs and advocate for his Nobel nomination. But here's where it gets really controversial. Hasn't Trump also acted as an aggressor? Gregor points out that the Nobel Committee might evaluate a candidate's overall contributions to peace. Trump's withdrawal from international bodies, his push to acquire Greenland from Denmark, a NATO partner, and his challenges to democratic norms at home don't align with Alfred Nobel's vision, she noted. Beyond joining Israel in bombing Iran in June, Trump authorized strikes on Somalia in February, targeting ISIS leaders there. Read about it at https:// www.aljazeera.com/under Trump U.S. strikes on Somalia have doubled since last year. Why? In March, he launched major attacks on Yemen's Houthis for their Red Sea assaults. Details at https://www.aljazeera.com/news/24/under Trump U.S. strikes on Somalia have doubled since last year. www.aljazeera.com/news/2025/420/Houthis say U.S. bombs Yemen again targeting capital Sana'a. And in September, he ordered strikes on vessels in the Caribbean, including some from Venezuela, alleging they carry drugs. Activists warn of risks at https://news/2025/10/8. Activists warn Trump's Caribbean boat strikes risk regional war. Trump has even threatened to annex Greenland, Canada, and the Panama Canal. This duality, peacemaker versus warrior, is what fuels the debate. Does brokering ceasefires outweigh ordering bombings? It's a question that divides opinions sharply. Speaking of which, is aggression a deal-breaker for Nobel winners? The prize, created by Swedish inventor Alfred Nobel, honors the person who shall have done the most or the best work for fraternity between nations, the abolition or reduction of standing armies, and for the holding and promotion of peace congresses. Yet, history shows it's not without its share of eyebrow-raising choices. In 1973, U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger shared the prize for negotiating an end to the Vietnam War, but he was accused of sabotaging earlier peace efforts and prolonging the conflict. His role in Cambodia's carpet bombings under Nixon killed hundreds of thousands, and they supported Pakistan's atrocities during Bangladesh's independence in 1971. Post-award, Kissinger backed Indonesia's invasion of East Timor in 1975. In 1994, Israel's Shimon Peres, alongside Yitzhak Rabin and Yasser Arafat, won for the Oslo Accords. But Peres had earlier helped orchestrate the Suez War, and as prime minister, authorized strikes on PLO offices in Tunisia. Myanmar's Aung San Suu Kyi earned it in 1991 for her democracy advocacy, yet later faced calls to revoke it due to her oversight of Rohingya massacres as de facto leader from 2016 to 2021. And Obama? As Gregor mentioned, his 2009 win was seen as hasty, emphasizing his ideals over actions. These cases illustrate how the committee sometimes embraces bold, divisive picks if they believe the laureate merits it. So, could Trump actually take home the prize, and who's backing him? Nominations for 2025 closed on January 31st, right after his inauguration. In July, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu nominated him, followed by Cambodia's Hun Manet in August. Armenian leader Nikol Pashinyan and Azerbaijan's Ilham Aliyev jointly endorsed him that same month. Within Trump's circle, Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff called him the single finest candidate, and U.S. Representative Buddy Carter wrote to the committee in September. Even Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla chimed in that Trump deserves it. However, nominations after July 31st apply to 2026, and Pakistan has already put him forward for next year. Al Jazeera inquired with the Norwegian organizers about Trump's candidacy, but no reply yet. What if Trump doesn't win? At a military gathering in Virginia in September, he warned it would be a big insult to America. They'll give it to some guy that didn't do a damn thing. They'll give it to the guy who wrote a book about the mind of Donald Trump, he joked. In Norway, concerns linger about his reaction, especially with U.S. tariffs hitting their exports and tensions over Norway's divestment from Caterpillar due to its Gaza ties. The fund is worth about $2 trillion. But Foreign Minister Espen Barth Eide clarified in a Bloomberg interview on October 3rd that the government stays out of Nobel decisions. It's simply up to the Nobel Committee. It's important to remember it's an independent committee, he said. There you have it, a deep dive into Trump's Nobel Peace Prize bid, packed with context to help you navigate the complexities. But here's the big question. Does Trump's mix of ceasefires and military actions make him a worthy peacemaker, or is the prize better suited for someone with a cleaner record? And what about those past winners like Kissinger or Obama? Were they truly deserving? Or Or does the Nobel Committee sometimes prioritize symbolism over substance? You'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think Trump should win, or is this just political theater? Share your opinions in the comments below. Let's spark a conversation.